Hello there. So 1 Samuel chapter 30, David victory over the Amalekites. At this point, the Amalekites have gone in there and raided Ziklag, which was basically the town that the Philistines had given David. Well, they had raided it, stolen all the people, stolen all of the goods, including David's wives and all of that stuff. So David and his men had just come back from the Philistine army, 25 miles or so. They were tired and weary, ready to get home and rest, and they find their city burned. And of course, David's just weeping. The entire group is weeping over this whole thing. David does the right thing. He goes ahead and inquires of the Lord, what should I do? Because the people are wanting to stone him at this point. He was about ready to get killed for going with the Philistines in the first place. So all his men, they find this Egyptian who was a servant of the Amalekites, had been wandering around for a few days, out of 3 days, which is interesting. And they inquire of him, and he tells them where the Amalekites went. David and his men find them partying, in the field, and they basically give them some time to sleep it off and wake. So when they wake up in the morning, first dawn, David and his men go in there and they attack. They take not only the stuff that was kidnapped and stolen, but also an additional stuff that they didn't already have. So it's double blessing from the Lord here. It's interesting that David doesn't have the same kind of rules that Saul had with the Amalekites anyhow. The whole thing from this chapter is God loves you. When you feel beaten down, when you feel low like David did, that when you're sighing more than you're singing, his grace and his favor is with you. That's when he's there for you. David had backslidden, but now he's coming back to the Lord. He sends the spoil that he got back. He got everything back for the Amalekites that they had taken. He sent stuff to all those elders in Judah, all the people in Israel that were friends to him and his men. But another part that I didn't mention here is there was about 200 people that David left behind at the river at a brook because they were too weary, they were too tired to go on into the journey to fight the Amalekites. And when they got back, when David and his men got back, his men didn't want to give anything to those 200, and David said, no, we're going to give them some of the spoil. It's just another way, of reminding us that God rewards all of his servants, even the ones that don't look prominent, don't have a, full-blown church ministry or other kind of ministry where everyone sees them all the time. There's plenty of us that act in the shadows, that God uses behind the scenes. He loves every one of us, all of his children, all of his servants. In a lot of ways, we are like David's men. We are like the weary ones left behind at the brook. We're like the Egyptian slave. We're like the recovered spoil. We are like the elders of Judah. And you can get all of that and realize David is a picture of Jesus in this whole thing. He is our victorious warrior. He is the one going over there, rescuing us when we are downtrodden, rescuing us when we need the grace and mercy of the Lord. So much in this chapter. I love it. Continue praying. We've got one more chapter left to cover, and then we'll be getting into the book of Ephesians. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for listening. Please like this video and share it with all of your friends, those who need the study, which is everybody. God bless.